A few days later, another message arrived from an unknown number. The first one had disturbed him. This one frightened him. The message was short, very short. Sometimes the shortest messages carry the sharpest knife. For several moments, he forgot where he was, the school, and the voices around him, except for one name, Michael. A name he had spent years trying to bury. Sandra noticed the sudden change in his face. What happened? Timi locked the phone immediately. Nothing. She frowned. That does not look like nothing. It is fine. Yet it was not fine. Not even close. That night, sleep refused to come. He lay awake staring into darkness, while old memories crawled out of places he thought were permanently sealed. The past was returning. The university years had not been easy. During his third year, student politics had divided the campus. Groups formed, arguments grew, and tension spread. Everybody seemed angry about something. Timi never considered himself a politician. He simply believed students deserve better conditions. One protest led to another. One gathering led to another. Then came the day everything changes. The demonstration became violent, but nobody knew exactly how it started. Rumors moved faster than facts. By sunset, a student named Michael had died during chaos. The entire university mourned. Investigation followed and accusation flew in every direction. Some claimed student leaders were responsible, while others blamed security forces. Many blamed everyone available. Though Timi had never touched Michael nor encouraged violence, yet his name became linked to the incident, not officially though, or legally, but only through whispers. Sometimes, whispers destroy lives more effectively than evidence. His reputation suffered and friendship disappeared. People avoided him like a plague. Even after graduation, the guilt remained. Not because he caused Michael's death, but because he often wondered whether things might have ended differently if he had stayed away from the protest. Only a handful of people knew the full story. Aisha was not one of them. Each time he planned to tell her, something interrupted. Then weeks became months. Now somebody was using that secret against him. The following morning, another message arrived. An old photograph, one taken during his university days. Timi sitting among student activists, Michael standing behind him, smiling and alive. His stomach tightened. Who was sending these messages? Who knew enough to access photographs from years ago? The questions haunted him. Meanwhile, life continued moving elsewhere. Aisha became involved in a literacy project organized by a local non-governmental organization. The project aimed to help women in nearby villages learn basic reading skills. The work suited her perfectly. She loved every part of it. That was where she met Yusuf Bello. The first thing she noticed about Yusuf was his voice, calm and patient. The kind of voice people trusted immediately. The second thing she noticed was his habit of carrying notebooks everywhere. He was a journalist, a young reporter working for a local newspaper. Whenever stories appeared, Yusuf appeared too. And whenever events happened, Yusuf somehow arrived before everybody else. Their friendship began naturally. During meetings, community visits, and long conversations about education. One afternoon, they traveled together to a nearby village. The road looked as though it had been designed by enemies of vehicles. Each bomb threatened to separate bones from flesh. Aisha held the seat tightly. This made Yusuf laugh. First time on this road? It shows. Everybody makes that face. What face? The face of somebody reconsidering every decision that led here. Despite herself, Aisha laughed. The laughter felt easy and comfortable for the first time in many weeks. As their friendship grew, villagers began talking. Of course, villagers always talk. It was one of the few activities available in unlimited supply. Some believed Yusuf would eventually marry her. Others acted as though the wedding had already occurred. Neither of them paid attention, at least not at first. Then another problem arrived. Late one evening, an email appeared in Aisha's inbox. Regret followed immediately. The attachment contained an old article from Timi's university days. Articles about protests, violence, investigation, and Michael's death. His name appeared several times. Aisha read everything. Her hands trembled, not because she believed he was guilty, but because she had never heard the story before. Not once, not ever. The next morning, she called immediately. The moment he answered, she asked the question, "Timi, who is Michael?" And then silence followed. A dangerous silence. The sort that says more than words. Timi closed his eyes. The secret had finally arrived. Not from him, but from someone else. "Timi," his voice emerged quickly. "Where did you hear that name?" Aisha felt her heart sink. "You never told me." Another silence followed. A heavy one, a painful one. The kind that grows between two people when trust begins to stumble. "I wanted to tell you." "When?" "I do not know." "You had months." Timi rubbed his forehead. Every answer sounded wrong, and every explanation arrived too late. "It was complicated." Aisha laughed bitterly. "No, it was important." The words struck harder because they were true. For several months, none of them spoke. The distance between them suddenly felt larger than oceans or anything either of them could measure. That night, the call ended badly. No shouting, no insult, only disappointment. Sometimes, disappointment hurts even more. Days passed without meaningful conversations. Messages became shorter and replies became colder. The connection that once felt unbreakable now trembled beneath the weight of suspicion. Then one evening, Timi made a discovery that changed everything. After weeks of investigation, countless calls, several favors from old friends, he finally obtained information about the anonymous call number. He expected a stranger, somebody from the university, or even an old enemy. What he found instead left him staring at the screen in disbelief. The number belonged to somebody from NYSC camp. Somebody who knew both him and Aisha, who had watched their relationship from the beginning. Somebody who had smiled at them while secretly planting seeds of destruction. Timi read the message once, then again. His heartbeat quickened. For the first time, he realized that the greatest danger to their relationship had never been distance. It has been much closer. Watching and waiting patiently as a hunter hiding in tall grasses, ready to strike when the moment was right. The days following Timi's discovery felt very heavy. He stared at the name on his phone repeatedly, hoping it would somehow transform into another person's name. but it never did. The anonymous messages had come from Favor, the same Favor who had belonged to their platoon during orientation camp, the same Favor who laughed at everybody's jokes, joined them during meals, and once helped Aisha carry a bucket from the camp tap. At first, the truth refused to make sense. Timi remembered her clearly. She was friendly, easy to talk to, and always smiling. Nobody would have suspected her. That was what made the discovery frightening. The following evening, he called one of his former camp friends, Emeka. If anybody knew what had happened during camp, it would be him. Emeka collected information the way market women collected gossip. Nothing escapes him. The phone rang twice before it was answered. Guy, this one you remembered me today. Timi sighed. Do you remember Favor? A brief silence followed before Emeka laughed. That girl who practically followed you around camp? Timi sat upright. What do you mean by that? The laughter stopped. Wait, you didn't notice? Notice what? My brother. Ah, my brother. Everybody noticed except you. A knot tightened in Timi's stomach. She liked you. Ah, Emeka continued. No. Yes. No. Timi, that girl attended every event you attended. There and then, the memories began returning. Small moments, conversations, smiles, and lingering looks he had never understood because his attention had always been somewhere else, with Aisha. Oh, exactly. When the call ended, Timi felt worse than before. The truth was slowly arranging itself into a picture, and it was a dangerous one, capable of destroying everything. Meanwhile, life was moving forward for Aisha, though she found little joy in it. She still attended literacy meetings, taught her pupils, and visited nearby villages. But something inside her had changed. Her smile appeared less often, and even her laughter felt forced. Yusuf noticed it. One afternoon, they sat beneath a large tree after a community workshop. Women gathered nearby discussing family matters, while children chased one another through the dusty field. Yusuf watched her quietly. You have been carrying sadness for weeks. Aisha attempted a smile. Have I? You are carrying it right now. She looked away, but the truth sat inside her chest like a stone. Not because she hated Timi, far from it, but the problem was that she still cared. Perhaps too much. Yusuf spoke again. Sometimes people become prisoners because they refuse to share their burdens. Aisha laughed softly. You sound like a village elder. My grandfather says I was born old. And for the first time that day, she smiled properly. It was a real smile, the kind that reached her eyes. Yusuf noticed, but said nothing. Some moments became beautiful because they are left untouched. Back in Timi's PPA, he finally gathered enough evidence to confront Favor. The conversation took place over a video call. At first, she denied everything. Then she denied it again. But eventually, however, the evidence became impossible to escape. The anonymous numbers, emails, photographs, and records all pointed to her. Her face changed. The smile disappeared. The pretense vanished. For the first time, Timi saw the bitterness she had hidden for months. You ruined everything, he said quietly. Favor laughed. The sound startled him, not because it was loud, but because it was empty. No, Timi, you sent those messages, yes. You contacted her brother, yes. You sent the university articles. Yes. The admission came so easily that they frightened him. For several moments, he could not speak. Finally, he asked the question that mattered most. But why? Paul stared at the screen. Not with guilt, but with pain. It was the kind of pain people carry when they convince themselves they have been wronged. I liked you. Timi remained silent. I liked you from the very first week in camp. Her voice trembled. You never noticed me. The word emerged slowly, carrying months of disappointment. I watched you chase someone who lived hundreds of kilometers away. She said bitterly, I was right there. Timi closed his eyes. Nothing she said justified what she had done. Yet, he could see the loneliness beneath the anger, the wounded pride, the jealousy, and the obsession. All of it had mixed together until something ugly was born. You hurt innocent people. Her expression hardened. Then maybe you should have chosen better. The call ended softly afterward. No apology came. No regret followed. Only silence. The damage was already done. That same night, Timi called Aisha. He believed that the truth would fix everything. People often believe that truth alone can repair what pain has broken. Life rarely works that way. When Aisha answered, her voice sounded distant. Timi, I know who did it. She listened while he explained everything. The messages, the emails, the photographs, and Favor's involvement. When he finished, silence followed. A long silence filled with exhaustion. Finally, Aisha spoke. I believe you. Relief rushed through him. Then her next words arrived. But that changes nothing. His heart sank. What do you mean? You still hid the truth from me. Timi pressed his fingers against the forehead. Aisha, you still waited until somebody else exposed it. Truth often hurts most when there is no argument against it. He searched desperately for an explanation, but none arrived. Every sentence sounded weak. Every excuse sounded selfish. But finally, he whispered, I was afraid. Aisha closed her eyes. So I was. Neither of them spoke for several moments. They felt like two people standing on opposite sides of a broken bridge, close enough to see each other, yet too far apart to cross. When the call ended, Timi remained awake until dawn. For the first time, he understood that love was not disappearing because of distance. It was disappearing because trust had been wounded too many times. Weeks passed, and the service year moved steadily toward its final month. The dry season arrived. The air grew hotter. Dust drifted freely across the roads. The trees stood quietly beneath the hard sky. Aisha buried herself in work. She spent more time with Yusuf, not because she intended to replace anyone, but because friendship felt easier than heartbreak. Yusuf never pushed. He never pressured, never asked questions she did not want to answer. His patience became a comfort. One evening, after completing a literacy session, they walked through the village together. The setting sun painted the sky with soft colors while children played nearby and women prepared evening meals. The smell of cooking drifted through the air. Yusuf glanced at her. You look happier. Aisha smiled. Maybe. That is good. She looked at him. Why? Because everybody deserves peace. The simplicity of the answer touched her. For a brief moment, she wondered what life might have looked like if she had met him first. The thought frightened her. She pushed it away immediately. Far away in Egbogu local government, loneliness continued its work. Sandra remained Timi's closest companion. She understood his frustration, listened without judgment, and stayed when others left. Their friendship deepened more naturally. One difficult evening, after another failed attempt to reconcile with Aisha, Timi sat outside his lodge, staring into the darkness. Sandra joined him. Neither of them spoke at first. The night was quiet, and only insects filled the air with sound. Finally, she asked, "Bad day?" He laughed weakly. "Bad month." She nodded. "I guess." For the next hour, he talked about Aisha, regret, mistakes, and all the things he wished he could change. Sandra listened. Sometimes that is the greatest gift one can offer another. Not advice, not solution, but presence. The conversation eventually faded into silence, a fragile silence born from sadness, exhaustion, and loneliness. Before either of them fully understood what was happening, they moved closer. The kiss lasted only a few seconds, and nothing more. Yet, the moment it ended, reality returned, sharp and merciless. Timi stepped back immediately. His chest tightened. Regret arrived before the memory had even settled. Sandra looked away. Neither of them knew what to say. The damage had already been done. Several days later, he called Aisha, not because he had been caught, and not because anybody knew. He called because guilt refused to leave him alone. When she answered, his voice shook. "There is something I need to tell you." As he spoke, Aisha listened quietly. The confession felt like a knife moving through both of them. When he finished, silence stretched between them. Then it stretched further. Finally, she whispered, "I cannot do this anymore." His throat tightened. "Aisha, no!" Her voice broke. Not from anger, but from heartbreak. "I am tired." The words carried months of disappointment, fear, and waiting. Tears filled her eyes. "You keep asking me to trust you while giving me reasons not to." Timi closed his eyes. The truth struck harder than any accusation. The call ended shortly afterward. This time, there was no promise to call again. No promise to fix things. Only goodbye. A small word, a painful word. One capable of carrying the weight of an entire relationship. The weeks that followed passed without communication. For the first time since camp, silence became permanent. The connection that had survived distance, family pressure, poor network, jealousy, suspicion, secrets, and misunderstanding now lay broken. Each of them carried the loss differently. Neither of them escaped unhurt. Then, just when Aisha believed life could not become more complicated, a call arrived from Kano. The moment she heard her mother's trembling voice, fear gripped her heart. Her father had collapsed. He had a stroke. The words struck like thunder. Everything changed at once. Hospital bills arrived quickly. Expenses multiplied. The family struggled. Days blurred together. Sleep became rare and worry became constant. Then one afternoon, a well-dressed stranger arrived at her family home. Sympathy filled his voice. Opportunity rested in his smile, and he spoke politely and carefully. When he finished explaining his proposal, the room felt silent. Aisha stared at him in disbelief. The offer promised financial security, hospital support, business assistance, and solutions to nearly every problem facing her family. Yet, it came with one condition, a condition that changed everything. She would have to marry Yusuf Bello. The stranger rose calmly. I suggest you think carefully. After he left, silence settled over the house once again. Aisha sat motionless, her heart pounding and her thoughts racing.